This is the project I was working on. I was making a little top and I really didn't like how it was coming out, so I decided to rip it out and make something else. And as I was ripping it out, I thought maybe I should share with you guys how I make my sleeves. What do I mean by sleeves? These are my sleeves. They took me, I've made a few different kinds, and these are the ones that I like the best. So I'll put them on so you can see them. Just beautiful fairy sleeves. I really like big long sleeves like this. They are, to me, they're absolutely fantastic. So I'm making another pair with this yarn. It's, I think it's a Karen cake. I can't really remember. I don't have the wrap to it anymore. I've just got bits of project that I've been working on. So I thought I would show you how I make it so that if you'd like to make yourself a pair of cool sleeves, you can do that as well. So come a little closer and I'll show you what I'm doing. The first thing we want to do is figure out what kind of hook we're going to use. I am using my trusty, what is this? A 4.25. Normally with this yarn I would use a 5. I believe it's like a worsted weight, but it's a little fluffy and I like it a little bit tighter. So I'm going to start with my 4.25. Make a little magic ring, pull it tight, and then we're going to, pardon me, my nose is itching. I'm going to chain as many stitches in groups of 3 with 1 added to go around my arm. So let's see how many we need to do. So I've got 41 stitches, and then I'm just gonna go, is that gonna go around my arm? Let's see. Yeah, I think that'll fit. All right. And this is the kind of fun part. So I have 41 chains. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this is straight out from my hook. I'm going to pull it out straight, turn it, bring it back here, but then I'm going to flip it. And then I'm going to go into the bottom of that first chain. And that is where I'm going to, I'm sorry, this is not the greatest, y'all. I'm going to grab this one and pull it through and through. And then I'm going to move the tail in between, because that way it hides the tail as we go along and we don't have to tie it in later. I'm going to do 2 slip stitches, and then I'm going to go right back into that, pull that through and go through all 3 loops, and that's a half double. I'm going to do the same thing, pulling through all 3, yarn over, through the bottom of the next stitch, and through all 3. And I'm going to keep doing this all the way around until I have all 41 stitches. I've got 2 stitches left here. And then we are going to go right into the top of that very first half double crochet and pull it through. So now that we've got our band, and you can always check it now to make sure that it fits your arm the way you want it to. And now we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to do a double crochet, which is yarn over into that same stitch and pull through twice. And then we're going to chain 1. So basically we have a double crochet, a chain, a double crochet, and a chain. And we're going to continue that all the way around. This is my modified granny stitch. So we're going to skip the next 2 stitches, and into this third one we are going to put a double crochet. I'm going to chain and do another double crochet and a chain. And we're going to do this all the way around our circle. So however many stitches you've got, that's why we did the chain 3 plus 1 for the beginning. And I'm ready for the last stitch in this row. So double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, and then we are going to slip stitch into the third chain of our chain 4 at the beginning and slip stitch that in. And now to do the next row the way that I do it, because I'm going to be going into these chain spaces in between. So I'm going to go through and do a little slip stitch, just puts me where I want to be. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and my double crochets and a slip stitch. So that counts as our double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain. And then we're going to do that into the next one. Double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, and again double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain. And we're going to do this one all the way around. And I'm ready for the last one in this row. Double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, and again into the third stitch of our chain 4, and then we repeat the process again. That to get us in there, and then we're going to do that again. I'm going to do this for 4 rows. That's about where I want my increase. You can do this as long, you could do the entire sleeve like this if you wanted to. I'm going to add an increase. I will come back after I have 4 rows of this done. Alright, so I've got 4 rows. I'm just finishing up this 4th row. And I'm ready to start my increase row. I'm just going to start off like normal. And in this one, I'm going to do it twice. So, double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, and then in that same spot, double, I hate when that happens. Let's try again. Double crochet, chain, double crochet, and I did it again. Double crochet, chain. So we've got 2 of those in that one stitch there. And now we'll go all the way around and we'll come back in a minute. Now that we have that row done with our increase, we're gonna again chain 4. This is always the same. Double crochet, chain. Now, this is where it gets interesting. This I would call my first row of the pattern. This will be the second. What we're going to do is we're going to do the modified granny stitch into each one, all 3 of these spaces here. So double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, and then to the next space, double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, and then into the last one, double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain. And this way it makes the increase, we're still increasing 1 stitch every row, but it comes out looking much better. I fiddled around with this for a while to try and figure out how to make it go the way I wanted to. So we'll do this row all the way around. All right, so we're back. We finished that row. I'm going to start the next row, and we're just going to keep alternating these rows, but let me show you exactly how I do it. So these are those 3 stitches for our increase from before. We're going to go into the first one like normal. And on this middle one here, we're going to do it twice, just like the one below. So double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain. So you see we've got this same one down here. And we're going to continue that all the way around, and each row will continue exactly the same. Just alternate your rows. What I do is when I get to my increase, I just look at it and go, okay, where am I at? So this one has the 2 and the 1, so that means I'm going to go in each stitch there. And then if it's just the 2, then I know I go in the middle and do, or it's just the normal, I'll go in the middle and do 2 of them. And then that is how it continues the whole way. And you can make your sleeve as long as you want it. So I'm going to work on my sleeve and make it as long as I feel like. And I will be back when I have my length. I am on my last little V here of row 30. And here's what it looks like. You can see where I started the increase. We're going to check and see if that's as long as we want it before we go on. Pull that string out so that it doesn't unravel while we play with it. So again, this is what it looks like. And I just slip it on. And I'm going to have it about to here on my arm. So I like where that is laying. It's over my wrist, but not over my hand a whole lot. So I am going to tie this off. Get my hook back in there. And with that, I just do a slip stitch, snip, and there we go. So I've got one done, and now we're going to make another one exactly like it. I have 2 done, They're the same length. So now we're ready to go on to the next step, which is doing the top part of the sleeve. So we'll take a look at that. I'm going to just make another slip knot here. Make sure that it's where I want it. And this is how I do my joins. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to look, where is my increase? So my increase happens right here. So we're going to go back and right in there in that stitch, that is where I am going to attach my yarn. So just like before, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a double crochet and a chain, and then we're going to go to the next, right there, right above where that stitch is. Yarn over and do a, sorry, my yarn got stuck. A double crochet, chain, double crochet in the same space, chain, and then we'll go to the next one, which is right here. Double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, and we're going to do this all the way around this armband. I hate when I just pull it out like that. Now I am going to do something slightly different with the end of my row here. I'm going to go back into this space and do one extra modified granny stitch and then connect it to the third chain of my first 4 chain, and then I'm going to continue going around like we did on the lower sleeve. I won't do any more increases. The one here will be the only one. The rest of it will just be normal, and we're going to take that up until it goes up further on the arm. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. Now remember, when you get to where you've got that double one, put your modified granny stitch in this one. Remember, this is the blank space. So one here, leave that open and go into the third chain there. And this is, we'll keep it, you know, because our upper arms are a little bit longer, or not longer, they're a little bit bigger around than our forearms. So that just gives us a little more, a little bit extra room there for our upper arms. So I'm going to do this for a few more rows, I think, before I show you the next step. And I'll show you about where I like to have the split, which is what gives us the part that goes over the shoulder. I have done, let's see, let's count our rows here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows. And I think that's about where I want it, but again, we're gonna check by putting this on our arm. All right, so here we are. I'm gonna do again, pull that string so it doesn't come unraveled. And that's, I like that there. And let me turn around a little bit so you can see better. So that's about where it comes on my arm. And that's about where I want to start doing the top part of it. So I'll show you how we do that. All right, so on this row, I did my double crochet, chain, double crochet. I did not put another chain there. This is the empty space. There's the beginning of the row. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to turn my work and put my double crochet chain there, and then I'm going to continue around this way. And when we get to the end, the last stitch here, got that on that last one. I'm going to do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn my work, put my double crochet. This is really hard to do with a camera right in my way. Chain, and then we'll continue around this way. And we're going to continue these rows until they're as long as we want. So I'm going to do some rows and we'll be back in a moment. So on the open work, let's see how many rows I've got here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So again, we're gonna check those out and see how they look. All right, so just like before, and this is how I'm gonna check. I've got this one here, and I'm gonna grab this loop over here because it's got to go behind. So I want to make sure that this part goes to the back of my neck. Well, at the same time, this one goes to the middle of my chest, which it does. So, but it also means it makes that pull up a little bit. So I'm going to add 2 more rows just to give it a little bit extra room. So let's just, the yarn gets all tangled. You can hear the rain. The leftovers of the storm Debbie are hitting right now. I'm hoping the power stays on. We're expected to get between 4 and 8 inches of rainfall, which we've been having quite a bit of rain lately, so flooding is expected. But that means I may be able to find some cool rocks down in the creek this weekend, because the rain will, you know, wash things away, wash things downstream. So I will definitely be going out there to see what I can find. All right, this will be my last row. Trying very hard not to make a whole bunch of weird faces while I crochet. Because I'm one of those people that when I get really concentrated on something, I tend to stick my tongue out while I crochet. So I'm sitting there going, it's quite funny. Or at least that's what I've been told, it's funny. I don't know, you tell me if you think that's funny or weird. Of course, I am weird, so that really is not a shock. Almost done with this last row, and I think this will be just about perfect. That's one thing I love about crochet, is that you make it exactly how you want it. You make it to your specifications. That I have a hard time with patterns, because it's like, well, do this for this size, and it's like, well, what is that size? Especially with women's sizes. Women's sizes are bonkers. All right. So here we are, and like I did before, I'm going to grab this one to check and make sure that goes to the middle of my back, and that goes there. It is comfy. It fits just about right. It goes down to my wrist, but not too far, because I know that it's going to, you know, pull slightly and get a little bit looser, especially after it's washed, and this yarn is, you know, really stretchy anyways. So you don't want to make it too oversized, at least with this yarn. So what I'm going to do now to finish this off, once I get my hook back in there, I am just going to chain a bit to make a tie, because I will tie it on one side, and you can wear the tie in the front or in the back. It's, like I said before, it's all your preference. And I am going to just do this exact same thing with the other sleeve, but I'm not gonna do this part, and I'll show you that when I get to it, because there is a little trick that I do, or at least I think it's a trick. You might not think it's a trick, but to me, it's a trick. And now I need to find my scissors, which I think I dropped on the floor, because I'm really good at that too. Figure that's about good for a tie. Where did my scissors go? Got them. All right. Playing hide and go seek with the scissors today. Snip. There we go. And just like we did before, do our slip knot. And we are going to, all right, so there's where my increase is. Go up there, and that is where I am going to attach to. And I'm going to start with 1, 2, 3, 4. But here's where I'm going to change it. Instead of going this direction, I'm going to turn it and go this direction. And what this is going to do is going to make sure that the ties that we have on each sleeve match up. Otherwise the tie would be on the front on one and on the back on the other. So it would not quite work out that way. But same thing, go to your next one, which is right there. Double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, and to the next one, double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, and just keep going like that all the way around. And again, we get to that last one. And we're going to do another one right into this stitch here. So, double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, and into the third chain of our beginning chain 4. And we're just going to keep going around as many rows as you have. I think I had 7. I'll have to go back and check my other one to make sure that I was correct on that number. This yarn is so soft, my hook just wants to pull right out of it. And remember again, when you get to the end where you've got the doubles there, go into this first one, and remember that's our space. So go over here and go into the third. If I can get my hook to go in there properly. Come on, you can do it. And keep going. I'm going to do this. I did count it as 7 rows. Alright, I've got my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows, and I'm on my 8th row. So this is where I start the split. So here's my last stitch. There's the gap there. And I've got my double crochet, chain, double crochet. And I'm going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to turn and put the double crochet right back in there, chain, and then continue on this way, turning at the end of the row and going back. And I'm going to do this for 12 rows. That's what I did on my other sleeve. So when I get done with those 12 rows, we'll come back and I'll show you my trick. If you're following along, don't tie off yet. Wait for the next part because we've got to put these two together. So we'll be back when I'm done with all 12 rows. I have, let's double count just to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have all those there. I'm not going to do my string or tie off, and I did make sure that it is opposite of my other one. You can see the other one has a string over here, and this is how that one opens. So the string will be on the other side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out, and look, yarn Yahtzee. I played chicken and I won. That's how much yarn I've got left. I'm going to just unroll about that far. and I'm going to, well, I'll do a little bit more just to make sure. And we're going to snip it off there. So this is for my tie. And this might be redundant, but this is how I do it just to make sure that I've got enough yarn to get this last row. I am now going to frog that row and rip that out because I need to be back at this other end. I'll put my hook back in there and give that a little yank to pull that out so it doesn't go anywhere. Now, taking my other sleeve, this is where my tail is. So we're going over here to this right there. I'm going to take this part of my other sleeve and I'm going to pull all of that yarn now through there. Like I said, that might be redundant, but that's how I've made it work for me. And now I've still got those 4 stitches there. So I am going to try not to do with anything with that one, but I'm going to go, now there's my double crochet into that one there. And that's how I've got them hooked. So I'm going to continue the rest of this last row. So much stuff all over the place. It's hard not doing it in my lap. And my lap is much easier than over a table. Ugh. But hopefully you guys can see this well. And if you guys do try this, please let me know that you've tried this pattern. Let me know how, if it was easy for you, if it was difficult, if there are things I need to explain better, because I would love to make sure that, you know, y'all can make one of these yourself. This is my very first tutorial. I've never tried to teach someone how to make something before, at least not being, you know, in the same room with me, which I guess if you're watching me on your TV, I am in the same room with you. I'm in your room. Okay, enough with the jokes. Another thing that I always do when I'm doing ties is I try to make them as even as possible. I hate pulling my hook out like that. I'm not going to cut those parts out. I'm going to leave them in there so you can see that, you know, I'm just a regular human, a happy little hooker. I just make just do it how I do it, and it's not always 100% wonderful. Alright, so here we are at the very end. I did it again. Alright, and now I'm going to just do a bunch of chains for my tie. I did not count the stitches in my other tie, so I'm just going to do it visually. So where is my other tie? Here we are. And unfortunately, this one is going to be a bit shorter. I did not save enough yarn for that. All right, so there we go. Yeah, the other one is, I'm going to cut that to make it even, because I like having things that are even. So, I did not mean to yank that one out like that though. There we go, and they should be fairly even now. And I am going to clip those. Voila! All right, are we ready to put this on and see what it looks like? Here are our sleeves. Should have done this when I was sitting down, but I'm going to take these two ties and I'm going to make a nice little bow with them, just like that. And I am going to put that in the back. There. Moment of truth. How will it look? And there we go. I think that it's the perfect length. I do need to tie my ends in there, and I probably have one in here somewhere I need to tie in. But sleeves, the back, the lucky. He's sitting on boxes for headlights for my truck, which I will be putting in myself this weekend, and I will do a video on that too, because you never know what you're going to find on my channel. So, here we are, finished fairy sleeves. If you watched this whole video, thank you so much, and give yourselves a round of applause. Mwah. I hope that you try this pattern, and really do let me know if you do try it, if it's too difficult, if I've made the explanations where you can understand them, because like I said, this is my very first time doing any kind of a tutorial video. So, fairy sleeves. Have a great weekend, everyone. And if you're impacted by Debbie, please stay safe. It is pouring today here. So we're getting lots of rain, which I absolutely love. It's a perfect day for me. So I will catch you all later. Toodles.